everyone, I'm Heather from the Memory Box Project, and I'm here today to do a little training session with you, a little training demo as well, so alongside it. And we're going to be looking today at reminiscence for people that are in later stages with their dementia, and using more of the senses instead of a normal sort of group setting with all the items out. Songs and music and things. We're going to be sort of scaling it down quite a lot and condensing what would be normally a 45-minute to an hour session that we would provide into somewhere between sort of 5 and 10 minutes that you can do with people. So we're going to explore the different senses. I've got a few things with me today, and we're going to look at in the garden, which is our theme for the week. So I'll sort of talk you through the different things that we've got, different ways to do it, and give you a bit of an idea of how you can sort of do those more personal one-to-one sessions with people that may not communicate in the same way as other people in earlier stages of their dementia, and what things to look for and what sort of different reactions that you're looking for when you are doing your session. So we'll start by looking through the items that I've picked out from the garden. What I suggest you do before your session is maybe just grab a tray or something to hold things in, and pop out into the garden, or look in your activity supplies, whatever bits and bobs you have, depending on what theme you're going to be doing. And gather just a couple bits. You just need some key items. So for example, today, it's a little bit dirty, I have been using it, but we've got a gardening glove, so you've got that nice texture sound that it makes as well, and it links very well with my next item, which we've got this is a cucumber plant, so you've got the textured leaves, and you can talk about the dirt and stuff as well. And we've also got, as another key item, a packet of seeds, which obviously when shaken, you've got a nice sound to them, and they all link really nicely in together. We've also got a couple of leaves, which I've picked out, which we'll talk through as well. Some very delicate poppies and flowers, just to add a bit of colour, and also some herbs which I've picked, which obviously is your smell scent. So before we start looking at each item, the reason we are going to be looking at this just slightly differently than we would a normal session, so any of you that have had normal sessions with us will know that we have loads of different items, lots of songs, poems, pictures, all sorts out, is obviously because of the later stage of the person's dementia, so your family member, residents, we want to make sure that we are tailoring the reminiscence for them. So by using the senses, we are making it more personalised to them. You need to ensure, obviously, while you're doing your sensory reminiscence, not to overstimulate the person. So avoid bringing out every single thing at once. Avoid all of the smells, all of the songs, all in one go, and sort of try and slow it down, bring it one thing in at a time. So if I were you, I would start with either a sound effects CD, or possibly by streaming some sound effects. You can look up on YouTube, they've got some quite good ones. So luckily today we're in the garden, so we have some quite sort of normal sounds, sort of the breeze. Been hearing some birds and stuff as well, but you might want to maybe stream some bird sounds just to ease your way into your session, sorry, just while you're just getting things ready, and just to sort of set that scene. You would have collected up some items from the garden and things. Pause this video as and when you want, watch it all the way through, and then use it during your session as well, and pause it along the way. I won't be doing it as in I'm talking to any person that you are doing a session with, but you can use this to help guide you. So we'll start off with some flowers. So you'd have been playing your bird theme tunes and things, so maybe sort of phase that out and start bringing in some of your items. So here we've got some lovely flowers. When you're talking about them, describe the feel. So these ones are very delicate, they're really soft petals. They're poppies. Name them if you can, because people do know sort of flowers. They've obviously may have been gardeners in their life, they've had gardens. Explain the colour. So we've got a very pale sort of yellow with a slight peachy colour to it, and a darker orange. These are Californian poppies, and they just seem to have popped up in the garden. They've got a sort of almost many pointed star-like in the middle of each of them, and they've got some like lovely, interesting, delicate leaves. They're so soft. If you can, encourage the person to feel them if they're able to. And then here, I don't actually know this one, but we can talk about the colours. So this one, it's on one stem, but we've got many different flowers coming off of it. It's bright red. We've got these lovely little buds as well that are waiting to open. And in the middle we have a white sort of star effect leading to the middle of the flower. If you've got flowers that have a scent, encourage someone to smell them and describe the smell. So obviously if you're using things like roses and stuff, describe what the smell is. If it's sweet, if it's very perfumed, if there's any sort of vanilla sort of smells to it, just sort of work through talking each sort of flower in at a time, and really sort of slowly on your one-to-one session. So carrying on with textures from the garden, we have some leaves up next. So again, if you know the name of the trees or the plants, let people know. So this one's a sycamore leaf. Obviously when you stroke things or touch things, they make their own noises. So try doing that to incorporate some noise into the session. Encourage the person to feel it. Obviously with all of these things, ensure that you have no one with allergies to those items or anything, and just your general safety measures. So avoid leaving people unattended, obviously, with lots of items that aren't edible and could cause anyone to be poorly. So we have some different leaves here. This one's very velvety. It's got tiny little hairs all over it as well. This one's for a flower. Hold it for the person if they're unable to maybe hold things themselves. Ensure you hold it with your palm open. We've got another leaf here with a different edging, so encourage someone to feel that. Again, it's got a different sound to it when stroked. And then another one here which is very smooth, and I've forgotten the name of this plant, but I've got the flower in my garden. So encourage looking at it. Describe the colours. So we've got obviously a darker green here, we've got sort of a more typical, I'd say, leafy green, and this one a bit more of a sage green. So after we've done a lot about sort of touch and describing the flowers and the leaves, we can move on to maybe some smells and some herbs. So if you've grown these in your garden, just pick a little bit off, and we have here some fennel. So again, talk about the texture and the shape. If anyone's got any sight problems, ensure that obviously you're describing it fully, so it's sort of, there's lots of stems and leaves coming off of it, and then you want to describe the smell, so give it a rub. It's got a very aniseed smell, so if the person again can't maybe do this themselves, try and offer them the smell after, so give it a rub and a bit of a squeeze to get the smell going, and offer the plant up to their nose for them. So we've got some fennel there, and then we've got some basil. Basil's a brilliant one because it's got such a distinctive smell, so again, give it a rub, bit of a smell, maybe talk about the different things you may use that for, so in cooking and sort of putting it with tomatoes and stuff. The whole time just sort of be very calm and talk very slowly through these things. We have some chives, which obviously a nice onion smell to that. You can talk about maybe planting chives and the chive flowers, the purple flowers that come out of them. And talking of little purple flowers, we've got some thyme here, and it's in bloom, so you've got the flowers, and you've got sort of the classic smell of thyme and you can talk about maybe putting it with chicken or potatoes, and then lead on to roast dinners. And then you've got the beautiful dish of flowers there, tiny little purple flowers for people to have a look at, offer it for people to smell. We have some, we've dropped some. We've got some sage, which is very distinctive leaves on sage, and they're very textured, so they are very nice to feel. Got that lovely smell of like sage and onion stuffing. So again, offer them out. And lastly, one that maybe can be a little bit more sweet if you need to, mint. So with the mint, again, offer it as a smelling. See if you can get it sort of crushed up a little bit, because that will release the smell a little bit better. Talk about sort of the things you can make with mint, maybe sort of different drinks that you can put it in, and see which one they prefer. The whole time you're sort of you're looking for different ways of communication as well with this. You might not always get the verbal communication that you would get in other sessions, maybe with people with earlier onset dementia. So look out for sort of raising of the eyebrows, smiles, people actually opening their eyes. Maybe someone might be sort of may close their eyes before sort of smelling things and stuff. If they open their eyes and there's a reaction, that's always a positive. When you're playing the music at the beginning, when you're playing the sounds of the birds, you know, look for sort of those reactions to the sounds, the looking around maybe, any sort of tapping of fingers. So all the time just sort of like looking out for those more subtle communications that you may get from doing the sensory reminiscence.